Hi, I'm Venus O'Hara. I make content about holistic self-love. Merry Christmas! Thank you to everyone who's been joining me on my Vlogmas journey. Today's the last Vlogmas. And thank you to you if you are watching this. Anyway, I wanted to share with you a couple of rituals that you may want to do if you're into this type of thing for the end of the year before calling in all of the gifts and things you want to manifest for next year. So the first one I'm going to describe is something that I did last Sunday for the winter solstice. I was with some of my witchy friends, and it's really nice to do these types of rituals, intention setting, goal setting, etc. with trusted friends and have a sharing circle if you're into that, and share or not. Anyway, what we did was we each took a piece of paper, drew a timeline, and then we wrote down the 12 months of the year, and then we wrote a word or a phrase that summarized each month of the year, just to try and remember the year that has happened. And it's kind of good to look back before looking forward, to acknowledge the lessons and integrate the lessons and remember everything that we've learned, because we do have a tendency as humans to focus on what we don't have, what's next, rather than acknowledging and integrating what has just come by, what we've just received as well. So it was really interesting because we're doing these lists, and everyone was looking at their social media and their camera, the photos in their phone to remember, things from January. And everyone said, "Oh wow, that's such a long time ago now." Because sometimes we say time flies, but then when you think back to things that happened in January, it seems like a very long time ago. And it's kind of interesting our perceptions of time when you think of it in that way. So it was, and then we all shared our journeys of the year, and it was so interesting to see each person's journey and their reflections on it as well, and what was the thing that summarized a month. It's kind of choosing one theme that summarizes an entire month. Can be an interesting process to do, and the choice to share or not is very, very personal. I don't always share things when I do sharing circles. Sometimes you might want to keep it to yourself. The next ritual I did is something I did actually for last year, or the beginning of this year. And it's something I'm going to do again this year. So I was with a friend on New Year's Eve, and just before the midnight, the big moment, we made two lists. One was a letting go list, and the second one was a calling in list. And the letting go was everything that we're going to leave behind in the previous year, in 2024. And the list was quite complete, and we didn't share each other's lists at all, but we did take pictures of each thing. So the letting go is everything you want to let go of. It that could be behaviors, it could be people, it could be concepts, limiting beliefs, things like that. And then the second list was calling in. So those are the things that you actually want to manifest. And then just after midnight, we went down to the beach to watch fireworks, and I threw mine into the sea. And I really let go and surrendered and trusted. That's the whole point of letting go of these lists. But if you're not by the sea, you don't have to do that. Another way, you could actually rip it up. You could burn it, or you could even just keep it in an envelope and just don't look at it again. So the point is that you're not kind of attached to it. You're not getting obsessed with, has this happened yet, etc. And anyway, I didn't look back at the photos of these lists until maybe 6 months later, and I was so surprised. I was thinking, wow, the list was pretty much underway. And then I looked at it just recently, actually, just in the last week, both lists, and the letting go list is pretty much gone. It's gone in the past. Everything has been released and remembered, and also discarded off, because some of the things were not very nice things. And then the second list, calling in, most of them, I've achieved most of those things, manifested most of those things, but the things that weren't completed were underway, or they'd been initiated at least. So it was a really nice and satisfying feeling to actually go back and check these lists again, and then and acknowledge the progress, because that's the whole thing of, when you look back at the year, or even at a letting go list from the previous year, you really acknowledge your progress, and that can get you into a state of gratitude, of understanding how much you have grown and being grateful for that, because they say, gratitude is the foundation for abundance and manifestation. This is a great way to start, not just thinking, oh, I don't have this, I want this, but really honoring how you've evolved and grown in the last year is a great foundation for setting goals for the future. Another thing I did, which is so cool actually, I wasn't going to include this in this video, but I highly recommend it. This is something that's really shaped my year. I bought this very cheap diary for like $125 or something in a discount store. And I was doing this because, to be quite honest, I was not feeling my most optimistic self at the beginning of the year. And I'm someone who, I really try to pick myself up when I'm not feeling too good, and I don't stay down for very long. I'm always looking for the lessons, the meaning in things, etc. And yeah, so I think sometimes when you're going through challenging situations, those are moments when you really start to question your life, where you're going, and asking yourself the question, what is going to help me feel better? What can I learn from this? I'm always into that type of thing. I like to think of it as alchemy, where you're turning something negative into something positive. So with that in mind, I bought this book and I wrote this word, wins, and I actually wrote down 3 wins of the day every single day. Yeah, so the first one of 1st January is feeling motivated. I walked 11,000 steps, and I don't even know what this, I liked something video. I'm not even sure what that means now. Yeah, so this is a really cool thing that I've done, and also it's kind of nice to look back at different days and just think, oh yeah, that I did that, because and also just limiting it to 3, because some nights I was thinking, oh wow, there are more than 3 things to be grateful for. And it's not so much a gratitude journal. It's more about wins of the day. So those are achievements, because sometimes when we reach the end of the day, you're like, oh, I didn't do that. But doing this before bed gets you into that achievement mindset of yes, I did good things today, and I'm feeling blessed about it as well. So sometimes it can be very simple things like going to the gym. I opened it when I was going to the gym. Other times it could be I landed a new client, I got paid, I got some kind of big thing happening. And yeah, and sometimes I've been in bed and I've been like, oh my God, I haven't done the list. And I've got up and done it just because I know how important it is. And I've kept it up all year, and I will be doing it next year as well. So I wanted to share that with you as well, if you are someone who needs to focus on the positive and on the achievements. Yeah, so what about you? Do you have any rituals like this that you do around Christmas, New Year, or even just to feel better in your day-to-day? If so, please let us know in the comments below. And that's my video for today. And check out the links in the description below. I've got my podcast link, my meditations, my Substack, my book, and lots of good things. And of course, if you want to work with me as well, there is a link to book a call. So thank you so much for being here on Vlogmas. Merry Christmas, and see you soon. Mwah.